Moe dark fantasy, maid girl, isekai, shorter series, more colorful shonen. These have been the popular series over the past decade. What
Mhm.
do you predict will be popular throughout the 20s?
Mm, Whatever makes money. And I know that sounds maybe a little bit dismissive, but like I thought Moe was going to die off by the 2010s, and it did not. It continued to make money. Um, and so because it continued to make money, it continued to, you know, go for it. I think the problem is right now, again, it's all about making sure that the anime is profitable. Um, so if we keep getting isekai and creepy dark fantasy stuff that keeps making money, we're gonna just keep seeing more of it, and we're not gonna see, if anything else, we're gonna see a huge increase in it if that seems possible, right? Yeah, no, I know. But here's the thing, like I said, um when Katakawa announced that they're making more anime than ever, and I think we're going to see a big crash in this industry very soon. I think people are going to had just enough of it. And it turns out when your workers aren't working, you can't make shows. So that means that the people who are still working are hopefully going to be able to be like, I would like to do this project and I want to put my personal stamp on it, and, make it not just some trash that we did to keep the lights on, but have some meaning to it, like big tentpole series. Um, I think we're going to see, if in the next few years the industry does kind of implode on itself a little bit. I think we're going to see a lot of companies trying desperately to make, basically make the new hot thing. We're going to see a lot of very broad, very epic style of storytelling. And they're probably going to be like one or two super runaway successes and a whole lot of failures. Um, I think that's what the anime industry is going to look like in the next couple of years. Um, if if it starts to get if it starts to collapse, basically, um, people are going to be like, okay, we have to put all of our dimes into this. We have to put all of our eggs into this basket, and it's either going to work or it's going to fail miserably. Um, Another thing, I think a big we're going to see a big shift in CG anime. I think we're going to see a lot of digital cell animated stuff, digital cell, right? But I think we're going to see stuff that's hand animated, um, like we have now. I think that's going to become the purview of bigger series, like that can afford to do it, and smaller companies are going to go to full CG, for good or for ill, because it's cheaper to do because you only have to animate and rig a model once, right? So yeah, I think it's gonna go a lot more stylized and a um, lot better animated on the one side, and I think it's gonna go a lot less stylized, more generic, and a lot more CG, like just from tip to tail, on the other side. So we're gonna have like the high budget amazing stuff, and then we're gonna have the low budget but probably still pretty good stuff on the other side, if that tracks.
Do you think it's possible we're going to get that one nostalgic series that is done by Cell, hand drawn, old, colorful fluorescence, what we saw in the 90s and the early 2000s? I have a feeling that we may get one series like that, something made for people like us. But
I think that that's going to come around when somebody kickstarts it, like goes on a Kickstarter and has it made.
so you don't think the
um
studios will
I don't think the studios care about people like us. I think that the reason that they do did the reason that things were really fluorescent back then is because that was the limited color palette they were working with like hand painted cells. Um, and you can do it a lot easier, and you can get people to do it a lot easier by doing it digitally. I think that if people want that, that's going to have to be done. I mean, a studio can still do it, but they're going to want their money up front. You know what I mean? Like they're going to want to make sure that the people who want that are getting it in their hands, and so they have to make sure that they're getting paid first. um, I actually, I toyed with the idea of starting an animation company out here, because I know a lot of talented animators, and because, well, gosh darn it, you can do animation work from anywhere, as long as you have a decent internet connection, right? But yeah, just the operating costs are so exorbitant, like that it seems almost it's comical almost how much it costs, to pay voice actors, to pay this, to do that, to do any of this stuff. And that's all before you even get your first episode out the door. So if there is to be a super old school, like, so it's easier to make a nostalgic looking video game, right, than it is to make a nostalgic looking anime, because for like almost for the exact opposite reasons. Whereas you can program a 8-bit or a 16-bit video game basically in your basement on your spare time, to make a nostalgic looking anime requires an entire studio working on it. Whereas if you wanted to make a nostalgic or a current anime, you could probably, like, again, you could rig it up in MMD or Poser or whatever. But if you wanted to make a AAA video game nowadays, obviously you need a huge studio. So it's if it happens, it'll be at the behest of fans, and when it gets made, the fans will be very happy to have it. But it's not going to be something we can reliably see come out every year, if that makes you know what I mean. Like that super nostalgic stuff is in the space of Kickstarter almost exclusively.